So it's the Battle of the Firemen at the Fire Conjurers, Fire Ace versus Natsu. Yeah, we had the Megazord versus Voltron battle. It was awesome. Without spoiling anything, apparently my first impression of how that fight would have gone, if you want to see who would win on that, was how that fight would have apparently went down. It was an awesome looking fight, though, great looking fight. But now we have Natsu versus Ace. Ace from One Piece and Natsu versus Fairy Tail. Now, I know enough about these guys that I can give a pretty decisive view on who I think would win this fight. My personal belief is I think Natsu's going to win this fight. And I say this because Natsu has Dragon Slayer magic. He actually has a dragon that lives inside of him. I haven't been keeping up with Fairy Tail, but I know he's gotten some hacked abilities later on in the series. But he specializes in fire magic. He's also capable of eating and consuming fire like food to fuel his own fire and magic. He cannot eat his own fire though, which is, he even says like that's weird. What? But he's got like a constant appetite. He's always in shape. He's a brawler. He's a fighter, but he's a good guy. He's got a lot of firepower behind him. To the point where he can even combine his magic. At one point, I think he combined it with lightning magic to make lightning fire. I can't remember the situation behind that, but that was pretty cool. Actually, you should probably really read Fairy Tail. I got into it for a little bit, and then I kind of stopped. I'm like, why didn't I continue reading? It's got cool elements, it's got cool characters, and it's up my alley's fantasy and in a cool way. I'm like, why did I stop getting into this? I'll have to reread it and stuff like that. But yeah, Ace ate in the American dub the Flare Player fruit, which for those of you who don't know One Piece, allow me to just quickly give you the rundown of devil fruit. There are 3 types of devil fruit. I might mispronounce the elemental one, but you have pharmaceutical or pharmacy fruits. Basically, they will give you kind of a random-esque power. Luffy's Gum fruit, his fruit, gave him basically the abilities of a rubber man. That's a pharmic fruit. I know there's in Doflamingo's strings one. That's another one. I think I don't believe it's not the clown one, not Caesar. But anyway, but they give powers kind of along those lines. They're kind of weird or obscure powers. Then you have the zodiac fruits, which give you beast powers. So you can either transform into an animal, have attributes of an animal, which depending on the animal, they could have some separate abilities themselves. Then you have I might mispronounce this word, the Logi or Loja fruits. Basically, they're elemental fruits. You literally become the element that you eat, that is by fruit. Like if you ate a fruit that's like the water fruit, your body is literally now water. It's a mass of water. If someone tries to cut you, it's like, no, I'm made of water. That's not going to work. Physical attacks won't work. I know there's a magma one, which is stronger than the flare one. There's an ice one. There's a gas one, a sand one, a dark one. And the shatter, or basically what Whitebeard had, is the strongest of the pharmaceutical fruits, or among them. So, yeah. Blackbeard has the dark fruit, or whatever, the yummy fruit. And Ace has the flare fruit, which basically made his body, but he has a flame body. He could tank physical hits to a degree, or he can pretty much tank physical hits because, like, pass a sword through him, he's going to heat the sword and possibly even melt the sword. Bullets aren't going to necessarily hurt him, things along those lines. That being said, of the two of these guys, both of these guys can get their asses kicked too. Hell, Ace is dead. Spoilers. But I would imagine anyone who's paying attention to this video knows who Ace is and knows he's dead. Ace, I believe, died from getting basically impaled by the guy with the magma fruit. So abilities that can trump fire can kill Ace. I mean, Natsu can be basically just overtaxed and overtired and all that stuff. But the difference in this is, and forgive me, I might be misremembering how these fruits work, but if I am remembering correctly, only one of these guys can actually eat fire, and one of these guys is made of fire. You see a problem here for Ace is that Ace is more or less made of fire. Now, I think it has to be I think originally it was like you actually had to focus and make your body that, but after a while it just becomes like an instant automatic subconscious reaction. So their body isn't necessarily always like flame or whatever. They do have to like react to it. So in theory, I suppose, he can fight Natsu as a human and they'll just get into fisticuffs. But he throws fire, Natsu's going to eat the fire. If he, if he tries to, absorb a hit or like avoid getting hit by Natsu, like gets hit, it's like I'm fire. He's just going to start sucking up his body. So I don't. It's kind of like with Venom versus Bane. I don't see a clear way Ace can beat Natsu. Because if he had some other ability besides just fire, it might be one thing, but he doesn't. It's like see, if this was like Zuko versus Natsu, then I might be able to give a bit more of an edge to Zuko. Not edge, but I can see a better way of Zuko winning because Zuko's also a master swordsman, so he's got that on his plate as well. And I don't know if by the Korra series he learned lightning, but if he learned lightning, he'd have that as an advantage too. But overall, I mean, I got to give this to Natsu. If you think differently, let me know. If you know, again, I haven't kept up on really either One Piece or Fairy Tail. Again, I should really get back into Fairy Tail. Never been a big fan of One Piece. I tried reading One Piece and like I was kind of engaged, but I'm like, But yeah, I mean, if for anyone who actually knows how powerful like Natsu and Ace actually are, please let me know. I'm going by memory on this. But yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I think Natsu is going to win. If you have an idea for if you would like us to review something, put it in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. If you have ideas for who would win, Star Wars, superhero, what if, magic, anything I do on the channel, put that in the comments below as well. I will get to that at some point. I'll be back a little bit with movie news. Yeah, oh my god, movie news for a change. See ya.